Welcome back to BK Nothing But Nets. We got a good show for you today, loaded show for you today. I'm joined with my co-host, of course, Dylan from Nets Press. Dylan, I got to ask you a question to start the show.
Right off the bat.
You were a guard. If you had to score on one of two big guys to save your life, to save your legacy, to save the life of Mrs. Nets Press and the entire Nets Press family, everyone's life is on the line. You got to score on one of these two bigs.
Okay.
Cat or Joker? Who are you trying to score on?
I'm going to be honest. I think it's Jokic.
Okay.
I have a quicker first step for him. Cat can move a little bit, but it just depends on the day. Like, does he want to play defense or does he not? He was solid at Kentucky defensively. So, yeah, no, I'm going Jokic. I think I can blow right by him. And I'm, like, not the fastest person in the world, but, I got that little Luka first step. It's just the white in me,
The reason I'm asking is I think it's recency bias, right? I've been asking this question. Everyone's been saying Cat without hesitation. I'm like, I think you're underestimating how slow Joker is.
Yeah, no, he is incredibly slow. I mean, he practically walks. He's great. Just defensively, he's not.
But Cat, I've never seen a guy get beat up the way Cat did. And then they just send him into drop coverage, and then they're just draining jumpers on him all day. It was really, really bad with Cat.
It was.
It was really bad. Like, I think it's recency bias. And I don't remember seeing Joker live a life. I agree. Good point, Pete. I forgot where.
Yeah, no, Jokic is by far the worst defender in that conversation.
So this is just this. I don't look. It's not just recency bias. Cat was defensively awful in that series, but it's recency. The reason why everyone is picking Cat now is because of how he got beat up in that series, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, he had a horrible series defensively. He looked terrible. I mean, it got to a point where they had to play Mitchell Robinson over him. That's saying something, but I still would say Jokic is the worser of the defender between the two.
It was Cat's an easy guy to pick on. I mean, it's just his build. He's slow. He's just I mean, his body helps him offensively and on the glass, but defensively, he's an issue. Right? Like, I mean,
he pulls rebounds like a motherfucker, though. I mean,
he's big, so weird. Try to get around that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
but he also can't stay in front of you.
No, not at all. Neither of them can. But again, if you're talking one-on-one matchup, Mars laser beam pointed at the Earth, life on the line. Yeah, give me Jokic as my perimeter defender. I'll get by him.
Let me ask you this question: if I had a unit of Joker at the 5 and Cat at the 4, offensively, that's incredible what that could do.
One of the best big men offensive duos probably since DeMarcus.
Could you win with it, or would it be too much of a defensive flaw that you couldn't even win with both those guys on the court?
It would be a big. I mean, unless if you're pairing them with 3 insanely good defenders, then it's not working. No, like put maybe Dyson Daniels at 1, Lou Dort at 2, and then maybe.
But who's protecting the rim?
Yeah, I know that's the problem.
Yeah,
it doesn't work. No, but
it'd be fun to watch in the regular season. It would score 150. I don't even care who the other 3 guys are. It's scoring 150 points a night. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good duo whatsoever. I mean, there's no way that they can get him anyway. But
I was just throwing it out there as a hypothetical. If you put Cat and Joker together, could you even?
Oh yeah, no, that would be disgraceful defensively.
I don't disagree. All right, guys. Let's get into today's show. We got some big news. I want to get into. So I want to lead with Claxton. I want to just mention that real quick. Trade rumors mentioned on Claxton. We're going to get into that later in the show, but I just wanted to bring it up. Claxton to the Lakers. There's been Claxton mentioned in 3-way deals. Dylan, I'll kind of let you run the point here. What do you got for us as far as the Claxton rumors?
Yeah, I mean, today's dropped a bunch of news already, and it's only 11:40. There's reports now suggesting that the Lakers are confirmed interested in Nick Claxton, which I've been saying since the deadline last year. After they weren't able to make the Mark Williams trade work, It was blatantly obvious that they need a center to put next to that team. And Nick Claxton's probably the best available center on the market currently, especially at an affordable price. So to me, I think that this is a no-brainer. I've been saying this for, like I said, since the trade deadline, that this is the obvious move, probably the most likely move of the offseason in terms of Nets trades. And I think, again, it gives you the best value. You're getting probably 2 expiring contracts, potentially Dalton Knecht, and a first-round pick. I'm taking it. At some point, you have to realize that he's 26 years old. We all respect him. We all loved him during his peak, but he's not progressing anymore as a player. This is what he is, and if he's a guy that gives you 11 and 9 a night with 2 blocks, it's not really worth it for us. There's higher upside big men in this year's draft, whether it be as two-way defender, as two-way centers, or as primary defenders, or just as primary offensive players. There's better centers all around in this draft. So, to me, it's time to move on. It was great to have him, but you got to go and get your value at some point, and help yourself out financially in the long term. And getting off of his contract should be step number 1.
To me, it's kind of one of those things. It was real knowing you. It was good having you, but it certainly wasn't really good. We're going to get rid of you now. So here's my question. If you go back just 365 days ago, when everyone's making their top 75 players, top 50 players in the league, both the media and the executives had Nick Claxton on this list, right? He was the one net on the list. People argue, okay, so Cam Thomas should be on it, but he was. Nick Claxton was viewed as a good pro.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had this season. How much of this is going to be what he did this past season, where he played, where it was assessed as like one of the worst 2 or 3 contracts in all of basketball? How much is that going to bring down his value? Or is that like, okay, look, he's on a horrible team with no offensive players. They're not really a pick and roll offense. He's a pick and roll big. It's just a bad situation for him. How much of it is his value decreased? And how much of it is it's just a bad situation where he couldn't excel and he's still the same player we thought he was?
Yeah, I mean, I would go back all the way to last season about this. I think it's been the last 2 years that you've seen a steady decline in his game. And people blame the point guard play. He played with D'Angelo Russell and he played with Dennis Schroeder. It's not like these guys are disgustingly horrible point guards. Schroeder was one of the best players, if not the best player on this team for the first month and a half of the season. He overachieved tremendously with us, and he looked like a borderline all-star with us. I mean, at one point he was averaging like 20 and 7 with us for a 2-week span. It's the excuses for Claxton have gotten too far out of hand. And again, I'm a person that really likes Claxton. I've been on his side for many years, but the offensive progression is an issue. The free throw percentage has dipped even further. His efficiencies have gotten worse over the last 2 years. His defensive ability, he gets bullied down low. If he's not blocking a shot, he's practically useless down low, right? It's been really bad. I mean, Jalen Duren, Jokic, Embiid. I mean,
Bismarck Biyombo. Yeah, any
Bismack
big
Biyombo
body.
killed him
It doesn't
this
even
year.
matter if the guy's good or not, right? If he's a
No.
big body, he's abusing the class. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're completely right, and that's the problem. He has to be put in a system where he's utilized as a rim protector and a big, just like a floor runner. He's got to be able to play quick in transition. He's got to be a lob threat, and that's not really the system in which is working here anymore. It's you either have to have 2 primary big men, one of which can guard the perimeter and space the floor, and then a big man down low. He's neither, right? He can't space the floor, but he can't play defense down low. He's a power forward that can't do power forward things, right? So it kind of just defeats the purpose of him being here. There's a lot of better situations that he could probably be in, and I think the Lakers is one of them. So I don't, I don't see a world where him not being a Laker next year doesn't happen. I think that's almost a guarantee at this point.
I've been saying this since last season at the deadline. There's one team where I think you can send him, and that's the Lakers. Luka likes him. They need a big. They don't have a big. They can run pick and roll. He's never even going to think of touching the ball in a team with Luka and Bron other than lobs, right? Like he just kind of fits there. But my point about him on the Nets offense is the Nets aren't a heavy pick and roll offense, right? They a lot of penetrating pitch. They just don't run a ton of high pick and rolls. that kind of nullifies his game offensively, right? Like he's not getting the lobs, he's not getting the easy baskets, he's not getting the easy lanes and dunks where you roll to the basket like he did when they had James Harden or Kyrie Irving, right? I mean, so would you kind of expect his stats and his offensive production, even without it progressing, like even just the limited offensive player that he is playing in the Nets offense last year, his stats were going to take a dip regardless.
Yeah. I mean, they've taken a dip since the moment that Harden and them got traded. It hasn't been like it was just a 1-year thing. This has been steady regression throughout his play style over the past 2.5 years. I'm trying to pull up the year-by-year stats for him real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, if you look at, let's see, I'm at 2023. He was 9th in DPOY. He should have been top 3. He had 12.6 points, 2.5 blocks, 9.2 total rebounds. He shot a combined 70.5% from the field, which was a league high. He was the leader in field goal percentage that year. In 23-24, he averaged 11.8 points, so he dipped 0.8. His blocks went down 0.4 to 2.1. His total rebounds went up. He almost had 10. He was at 9.9. But his efficiency went down to 63%. His free throw percentage dipped from, it went up 1%. And then if you look at this year, he now dipped from 12.6 2 years ago to 10.3 points per game. His blocks went down from 2.5 2 years ago to 1.4. His total rebounds dropped 2. He's at 7.4 now. His free throw
amazing. Like, 4%. Why would his rebounding drop, right? Like,
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. The excuses really aren't there. And like I said, D'Angelo Russell was averaging like 6.5, 7 assists for us. It's not like he wasn't playmaking and playing through the pick and roll. You had Dennis Schroeder for a quarter of a season, and he was playmaking left and right. There's no excuse for him. This seems to either be a lack of game planning around him, a lack of confidence in his game, or just no effort. There's really no in-betweens. So, he wants to win. He's not going to do that here. So to me, it works for both sides to find a trade partner that works best for him. And like I said, since the deadline, the Lakers are the obvious choice. That's a team in dire need of a big.
My question is kind of like, if he goes back to the Lakers where you have Luka and Bron, which is different than, like, I agree. D'Angelo Russell was a secondary thought a lot of times on offense. He was just standing outside on the perimeter, and he couldn't shoot the ball last year with the Nets. But he did distribute. He did get a bunch of assists. He did create offense for others. He did all of that. And despite all of that, Claxton couldn't get anything going offensively. And then defensively, all of his warts, him being undersized, him not being able to guard the block, that was all exaggerated. Like, that was all on stage. Like, we saw that clear as day, his defensive liabilities. Are those things, offensively at least, playing with Luka and Bron in LA, are those warts, are those going to be covered up again like they were kind of when we had Harden and Kyrie?
I think it could be covered up to an extent, but I still think they need to go out and find a floor spacer to play either a stretch 4 or, it really depends. I mean, Hachimura could stretch the floor. I just think he's a bit undersized to be a full-time 4. But a starting lineup
is your 5. Now you have no big bodies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I think, Rui's solid defensively, though. He's very good defensively. But I mean,
you want to have him guard big 5s? Because who's going to guard the 5s?
I think it's more so. I don't think it's more so that Claxton can't guard a 5. It's that he needs help guarding a 5, right? And I think Rui could provide that help. I don't think that's a problem. But I mean, if you're rolling out a starting 5 next year of Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron, Rui, and Claxton, that's a huge improvement to what they had this year. I mean, you were running out Jackson Hayes at the end of the season to play the center spot. And I'm sorry, the only thing that he's known for is beating Lemon. So it's just doesn't work, Yeah, I don't know how he's still in the league for that either. I mean, it's blatantly, I've seen the video like 5 different times. He's an awful person, but yeah, no, I got no respect for that dude. But yeah, they need a big, and I think that Claxton's that piece for him. I don't think Walker Kessler is available. I don't think they're going to look into Mark Williams again. I mean, I know they're not going to look into Mark Williams again.
They already declined the trade. They're not going to trade for him now.
What other bigs out there? Are they going to take the veteran approach and go grab a Brook Lopez? That doesn't make sense. this team isn't being built around LeBron anymore. It's being built around Luka. So to me, Claxton is the perfect fit. Time frame wise, he's only 26. Luka's, 25, 26, 24, maybe even. 25 or 26, I think. He fits the timeline perfectly. He's on a long-term contract. And I think that, the $24 million that Claxton's making is bad for us, but it's not bad for a team that's looking to contend with Luka.
It makes more sense. Like I said, he's a better fit for the Lakers. It makes no sense to have him here. The last question I want to ask you before we move on to the Cam Johnson show, which is what I want to spend the bulk on, but I do want to come back to Claxton and what that trade package may look like. If we do trade him to LA or otherwise, does Maluak or Queen become the man? Does that become the future five? And which one do you think Marks would? Let's say, hypothetically, they're both there at 8. I know that's not going to happen, but live in this fantasy world. If Maluak and Queen are there at 8, does that become the obvious pick if Claxton is dealt? And which one would they prefer?
Maluak, 100%. I don't think Derek Queen is a player on the Nets' radar. Again, when you're looking to improve the roster as a whole, you need versatility. And Queen's defensive liability is a bit too of a deal breaker for me, at least me personally, right? I haven't heard any news on the Nets looking at Queen as of yet. I know that he was Sean Marks was in Maryland for a couple of games this year, but outside of that draft combine and so far during the pre-draft workouts, I haven't seen his name pop up. Maluak, though, is somebody that has been mentioned within Brooklyn, a player that they feel is, a key piece if he is available. Fears is by far the choice if he falls to 8, and everybody knows that. But if he's not available at 8, then I think Maluak is the clear and obvious choice. You have guys like Trey Johnson, Con Kneppel, Jeremiah Fears. These guys are rising up draft boards. And we're going to do a quick lottery draft simulation here at the end. But, I have all those guys going before him now, meaning Maluak. So to me, Maluak is the guy that falls to 8. And if that's the case, you go and grab him and you try and trade up into the lottery. So it'll be interesting to see how they can play it out. But again, if you miss out on Maluak and Fears, okay, you got Thomas Sorber that you could look at 19, which I still think is a high upside big. He can play both ends of the floor. He's got a mid-range game to him, solid playmaking out of the post. This is a guy that could easily be a Nick Claxton replacement. But the goal should be Kamal Maluak at this point, especially knowing that Nick Claxton is a guy who is, at this point, like 99.9% getting traded.
You that confident he's going to get traded? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a done deal. I think there's already been something worked out, which is why it's been so quiet. But
and his contract also gets better over time. The cap goes up, his contract goes down, so it's a very tradable contract. I'm hoping you're right. A part of me is like he played himself out of old value last year, but the other half of me is like, well, people still like this game, right? He's a guy that's been in the league. His game is what he is. They know what they're getting.
Yeah, he's still a very good defender, and at the end of the day, he's a starting big man in this league. A starter in itself, automatically, no matter the position, usually gets you back a first-round pick. So to me, his value is expiring contracts, a young player, and a first. And realistically, Gabe Vincent and Maxi Kleber are just 2 expiring contracts. Those are not guys that Brooklyn's going to value. So, is there a world that you can get back those 2 contracts and Knet plus a first? Or would you rather the 2 expiring contracts and then 2 firsts? It really depends on what you think is more valuable. To me, I'd like to see Knet here. He's on a rookie contract, just $4 million a year. And he's shown flashes of being a very solid role player in this league. So I would like to see him included in the deal. But, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And if it doesn't happen, then, just throw in an extra first. I think that's more than enough value.
Lou wants to know if we can put out some rumors on Jeremiah Fears to make his draft stock fall. Can we put out some rumors?
I don't need a defamation of character case, man.
We know it's not real.
That's your guys' job. Yeah, no, I mean he's been doing everything right, unfortunately, right? He's flying up draft boards. I mean, I have him projected between 5 and 6.
He was always 5th. He was always 4th. I mean, I had him 4th after the big 3. I had him 4th on my depth charts. I know, and I was hoping he would fall to 8 because of his size, and he's not a consistent shooter yet. But like, once you really take a deeper look into him, you're going to see what me and Dylan have been talking about, and that's the guy. I expect him to go no later than 5th. I do think Edgecombe and Ace will go 3 and 4. I do expect Fierce to go 5th.
Oh, so you'll love this draft then.
We'll get to it. I do want to. You're 99% confident that the Nets are going to trade Cam. How confident are you that they're going to trade Claxton? I'm sorry, you're 99% confident they're going to trade Claxton. How confident are you they're going to trade our boy, our favorite Brooklyn
Not
Net,
out, no.
someone we don't want to see go? Cam Johnson.
Somebody that absolutely should not be traded.
I'm not going to jinx this. He needs to be. Yeah, he needs to stay here forever. Yeah.
I mean, all right. I see Leaf's comment already. The Sixers trade is horrible. It's for 2 reasons. One, there's probably no realistic opportunity where you can keep 8 and move up to 3. That's first of all. Second of all, I don't think Ace Bailey's worth moving up to 3. I'm going to be very honest. There is a lot of risers in this draft class, and there are a lot of question marks and developmental issues with Ace. I love Ace. I hope that he becomes the superstar that everybody wants him to be, but there is a very high chance that he becomes just another Michael Porter Jr., and that's not something that I'm willing to move up to 3 with. This trade that you have on the screen, they invited me to this. I personally didn't make this one. I think they actually used the ones that I used previously. But it doesn't make sense for either side. You're not getting up to 3 without moving 8, right? The 76ers have been linked to Trey Johnson, Con Kneppel, and Kamal Maliwak. So if they're going to move back, they're going to do it to get one of those guys. So it doesn't make sense. But to me, Houston, Portland, Atlanta, San Antonio, and OKC, that's picks 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15. I think those are the teams that make the most sense for Cam Johnson. And I do think that hopefully one of them will figure out a way to do so. If San Antonio decides to keep the 2nd pick, I could definitely see them moving 14 for Johnson. Houston is now a 50-50 because of reports from today. The Suns want the 10th overall pick back in a Kevin Durant trade, which kind of hurts our chances of it. But I also don't think Houston's that serious about KD. I think they're more interested in Devin Booker, which I think they'll wait a year to do so. But you're not giving up those Suns picks for a 37-year-old. You're going to do it for the guy who's going to be 29, 30 years old in the peak of his career. So I don't think Houston necessarily wants Kevin Durant. But that doesn't mean, that a team isn't going to want him. Minnesota has the 17th pick. They could very well look to try and form up a package to get KD. So yeah, to me, I think it's more valuable to have 3 top 19 picks than it is to trade all this and try and get the 3rd pick. I don't see that being worth it.
I disagree with you on Ace Bailey. I think it might not be year 1, it might not be year 2, it might not be year 3, but by year 4, I think he's an all-star player. Now, is he Tracy McGrady? Only time will tell. I don't think Ace Bailey is particularly close to being an all-star player, but all the skill set, the size, the length, the shot making, the athleticism, it's all there for me. It's just a matter of not everyone is going to develop like LeBron James. Not everyone's going to come into the league like gangbusters and be an all-star caliber player at 18, 19. I would trade down to 3. I mean, it's got to be within reason. And within reason to me is giving up Cam Johnson in the 8th pick. Cam Johnson and Con Kneppel do nothing for your franchise. Ace Bailey potentially could change your franchise. It could change the trajectory of your franchise. And for you guys that want to tank, there's no better tanking piece than playing Ace Bailey at 18, 19 years old, 30, 35 minutes a game. He's going to make a million mistakes. He's going to get cooked defensively. He's going to look really bad at spots. And then now you have an opportunity to draft in the top 3 next year and get one of the 3 big names next year. Potentially. So to me, look, I'm going to make the trade. Let's get it. Let's talk about this trade. But to me, if you're looking for a guy to come in and win Rookie of the Year, that's not Ace Bailey. We agree on that? Like, he's not the most pro-ready player.
I mean, I disagree with a couple of the things that you said. I think that in today's NBA, it's you don't see guys taking leaps in those third, fourth years. Like
Jaylen Brown.
It's a very rare thing to happen.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown's one, but he got drafted 10 years ago now. It's a bit of a risk, and I'm not a guy that when you're in the position that the Nets are in, where you have no young talent, you can't fuck up these picks, right? Like, you genuinely cannot make a mistake. You need to draft 2 or 3 really good players in this draft. So what's more valuable? Ace Bailey in itself with picks 26 and 27, or potentially 3 top 19 picks in a loaded draft class? You know what I mean? Once you get to that 26-27 range with the amount of players that are going back to college, you're now looking at like Walter Claytons and Adu Thiaros. Like, those aren't guys that are going to change your franchise. These are forever role players, right? When you're in that potential 8th spot, a 10 through 14th pick, and that 19th pick, you're looking at 3 guys who are coming out as freshmen who have the upside to be full-time starters in this league, some of which may have star potential, right? To me, that's more valuable than just Ace Bailey. I don't think Ace Bailey's worth it. I love Ace. I want to see him do good. I was extremely high on him at the start of the season, but there are a lot of developmental issues with him on both ends of the floor that are just a bit too risky for me. And this isn't the draft to take the risk. You gotta strike back.
This is my point, right? Role players, secondary players don't change the trajectory of your franchise, right? Like, everyone's like, oh, Mark's hit with Karis LeVert. He hit with Nick Claxton. He hit with Cam. None of those guys change the direction of your franchise. If you're a crappy team and you get Karis LeVert, Cam Thomas, and Nick Claxton, guess what? You're still a crappy team with better role players, right? Mm-hmm. Like, to me, the only guy, well, not the only guy, but at 3, Ace Bailey at least and this is why I'm for Zion Williamson. I need someone who can get me out of hell. Getting Con Knippel at 8 or what doesn't. I just have a nice role player.
And I got
that's all I have.
I have to answer Lee for what do you mean Kuminga 3rd or 4th year? He hasn't done fucking shit. He's been mediocre. Top 10 pick. Can't even get playoff rotational minutes when they're fully healthy. He hasn't done much. He hasn't taken a leap. The glazing on Kuminga right now is absurd. And if you want to pay him $30 million, you're crazy.
I was on this months ago, and everyone called me crazy. Now people are slowly coming over to my side, and I don't even know.
If it was for $22 million, by all means, sure. If we didn't have to do it via sign and trade, sure. But I'm not overpaying for a guy nicknamed the fucking cum bucket, who is mediocre. Sorry, not happening.
Who calls him that?
That was his nickname when he first came into the league. Everybody was calling him the cum bucket.
His stats in year 4 he was injured and he missed some time, but his stats did regress. Right, he went from 16 to 15. His efficiency fell through the table. His 3-point shooting actually got worse. Didn't stay the same. It got worse. He had the worst 3-point shooting year of his career. Look, I think Kuminga is a guy that can probably stick to 3. He's obviously an athlete. I think there's a lot of upside to Jonathan Kuminga, but he hasn't proven it yet. So if you're signing him, you're signing him strictly on potential and potential that hasn't been proven yet, right? So what do we make of Jonathan Kuminga as a defensive player?
I think he's solid. I don't hate Kuminga whatsoever. I think he still has upside. But to say that he's had a year 3 or 4 leap is pathetic. He's done minimal. And you could blame that on Steve Kerr and the relationship that they have and the trust that he has in Kuminga. But at the end of the day, if you're not earning trust on a team that's contending, why? Like, what are you doing? You're clearly not going to be, the best of the best. You don't have that upside that some may think you still have. Like, could he be a 20-point per game scorer in this league? Sure, but why are we paying that $30 million?
Let me ask this question. And this is not going to make Net fans happy. Because I trade Kuminga, and then I let Cam Thomas walk.
It's shit your pants, change your shirt. I got to say
it's not, though. Kuminga is a guy.
Every time we're on this show, I mean, everywhere I'm at, I use the terminology. But that's like shitting
Who's
your
the
pants.
better basketball player?
Kuminga. All around wise, it's Kuminga.
Okay.
But
that's
at
why
the end of the day,
that's why it's not change your shirt, it's change your pants.
But at the end of the day, you're replacing a young player who has not reached anywhere near their potential, nor may they ever, with a player who has not reached his potential, nor may he ever reach it ever. Like, it's the same exact style in terms of the progression that you still need to make with that player. There are wings in this year's class who are 18, 19 years old, who you can get, who have upside that you could develop on your own. When you have guys who are already in the league, who you're about to pay a shitload of money to, they're not going to give a fuck about development. They're here to make money. Kuminga's asking for $30 million. I'm not giving that to him by any means necessary. They already said that they're not going after him. So I don't even know why we're having the debate with Leaf. They already said they're not going after Kuminga. They're not offering him an offer sheet. It's not happening.
All right, well, I didn't hear that, but I'm going to take Dylan at his word that was said.
So
and then
it got reported a couple of days ago.
Then I'm going to, well, we can look. I'm with Leaf. I want Kuminga here too, within reason. You know, but in my perfect world, Kuminga would be here. Well, not in my realistic world. I think there's a way to get Kuminga here, and I would pursue that.
Yeah, this
I
is
like
from
Kuminga
Anthony
too.
Slater, who covers the Warriors from The Athletic. The Brooklyn Nets would not make an offer for Jonathan Kuminga in free agency, but they are willing to be in a various of sign and trade deals that would include Jonathan Kuminga. So they're not looking to outright sign him. If there's a sign and trade opportunity there, you can do it. But the thing is, and I've already looked into every scenario here, if you give Kuminga $24 million a year and you give them Claxton in a sign and trade, they can't do that. They're a second apron team, which means that you actually have to give up an extra $10 million just to get back a contract of equal value to the player that you're trading out. There is no scenario where it realistically happens.
Is there any team realistically that can sign and trade for a Kuminga? That
Chicago.
would don't say a team that would never trade. Like, is there a realistic?
I think Chicago could be one of them for Kobe White.
Okay.
You know, I think Chicago would offer him $30 million because they have nothing outside of Giddey, right? They have a pick at 12 this year, which I think is going to be Derek Queen. But realistically, you know, if you can grab Queen, bring in Kuminga, and then you have Giddey, that's a solid core to have. So I could see Chicago being a team that does that. You know, maybe does Utah look into him potentially? Is that like a Larry Markkinen type of thing? But again, they don't have the contracts to put outward for a Larry Markkinen, so it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, I think Chicago would be the only team as of right now.
Kuminga is Obi Toppin if Obi was good. I don't think that's. Oh, it's Nate. What up, Nate? He's changed his profile
they also have
pictures.
Buzelis, Leafs, right? Yeah, so I mean, if you have Giddey, Buzelis, Kuminga, and Queen, that's a great young core to build around.
To me, the question is like, we're going to give Cam Thomas $30 million or $25 million, right?
No, he's getting like 20 to 22.
Let's say 24.
So,
can we agree on 24? He's getting more than 20.
No, trust me. I if you listen to Bobby Marks yesterday, the team with the closest cap space to us only has $15 million.
Yeah.
Which means that the max offer Cam Thomas can get from an outside team that he is not currently on is $15 million. The Nets could realistically grab him for 18 to 20 if they really wanted to fuck with him and get him at a low team-friendly deal.
It's business, right? Like, it sucks for you, like that you became a free agent this year, but it's still business. Like, take it or leave it. You're not going to leave it.
No, not at all.
And even if he does leave it, let's say he leaves it and takes a 1-year qualifying offer to try and play himself into a max deal. Mm-hmm. Okay, guy, and then I'll just say bye-bye to you after next year. You come off the books entirely.
Or you just trade him.
Oh, you could do that too. I mean, yeah, you could do that too. Yeah.
Like, you can grab a guy on a rookie contract plus a first-round pick or two for Cam Thomas on his qualifying offer. Like, it really wouldn't hurt us.
You know, I think D'Angelo Russell and Cam Thomas is the greatest backcourt God ever created. That being said, like, Cam Thomas is completely expendable. Like, I can get rid of Cam Thomas. 100%. I really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, listen, his scoring is elite, but it's also not been proven. Like, he had this entire year, whether he played 20, 25 games or 60, 65, doesn't matter. He had the time to showcase the high effective scoring that he has, and he averaged 24, which is good, but the efficiency wasn't there. This is a guy
the efficiency, it was pretty efficient before the injury, and I know it's a very small sample size. Before the injury, his effective field goal percentage was like 54%, which for a guy solid. For a guy in that offense taking all your shots, it's good. Like, yeah, but it's not Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant efficiency, but it's good.
Yeah, but when you're looking at effect, so the advanced stats are very weird in how they showcase things. You're really basing things off of your regular field goal percentage as a whole, and then your true shooting percentage. And neither of those were above league average. They were like average. It wasn't anything spectacular. You know, in some cases it was below average.
Well, if you take his true shooting is probably pretty high because he takes a bunch of free throws and hits them at an 85% clip.
Let's see. Cam Thomas.
It came down after the injury. He was really bad. But before the injury, and I get it was only 15 games or 17 games, but it was good.
Oh, they don't show true shooting on here. Yeah, his effective field goal percentage was 51.3 this year. His field goal percentage as a whole was 43.8. His three-point percentage was 34.9. Like, those are all below league average.
They dropped after the injury. Right. After the injury, but I'm saying before the injury, he was cooking. I mean, as much as
he was, but we weren't
a guy
seeing
in
those,
that offense.
Yeah, but you have to remember too, this is also a fan base that sucked him dry off of the fact that he put up 3 back-to-back 40-point games and was thinking that he was the next coming of Jesus Christ. Like, we didn't see that this year. It was solid scoring, but for the hype that you guys were giving him, it was pretty shitty.
To be fair, though, when he was playing, he is the scouting report.
Yeah, by far, but that's also because he's the only offensive player on the team.
That's my point, though. If
you put him on a contending team, he's likely a 6-man.
No,
sad,
and that's what I'm saying. So it's just, why am I giving him $25 million?
You're
saying less.
Trade chip.
I can give it to Kuminga and have Kuminga on my team. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to sign Thomas
because realistically, the shooting guard.
Kuminga.
Well, because realistically, the shooting guard position is slim this year in the draft, right? You have Trey Johnson, you have VJ Edgecombe. Can you name me another shooting guard that's got high upside?
Cam Jones.
He's a fucking senior. He's a role player. You know what I mean? Like,
I love Cam Jones.
I hate seniors. Like, dude, it's just, we suck. Go grab youthful upside players. These seniors don't have upside. They are forever role players, if not solid rotational starters. Like, it's nothing of absurd, potential. But that's what I'm saying. There's no shooting guards this year, realistically, in the draft that I would personally take outside of Edgecombe. And Edgecombe isn't going to be there at 8. I'm not taking Trey Johnson. I think he's horrible.
Yeah, I don't want Trey Johnson either. But Cam Thomas as a 6-man is nothing to sneeze at. I agree. But Jonathan Kuminga is a starter. So why am I giving a 6-man a starter's money? I could just give the money to Kuminga. I don't think you're giving a 6-man
a starter's money. I think you're giving him $20 million.
Well, $20 million is, that's $20 million is a starter.
Yeah, but if you're giving him a 2-year, $20 million deal with a player option after the first year, you could be using him in a trade piece. Or if you do it as a 3-year, $60 million deal with $20 million per year, you can start him off at 23 if you really feel like it and have it front loaded.
Why am I doing all of that? This just seems like you're doing
because when you have a restricted free agent, there's no point of losing them for free. That's just weird. It doesn't make sense unless if that player is genuinely ass and has no reason to be on the team. Like, there is no reason to get rid of him. He's a trade piece. It doesn't matter the contract that he gets. It could be 18. It could be 23. As long as you get him back, you're going to have a trade piece, and he'll be the starter in any deal for.
Then what would a sign and trade look like for Cam Thomas? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I sign and trade him, because my goal is to have Kuminga, not Cam Thomas, right? Like.
Yeah, my goal is to have 3 top 19 picks.
Jonathan Kuminga is a 10 times better basketball player than Cam Thomas. So my goal is to have Kuminga, but I still want to get something for Cam Thomas. So what would a sign and trade for Cam Thomas look like?
Nobody wants him.
That's my point, though. So
that's my point. That's my point. As of right now, nobody wants him because he's on a short-term deal and nobody actually knows his value. He also only played 25 games this year. Like, give him a year. Let him figure out his value by showing it on the floor, and you'll still have contracts that you could pair up together to move in for a star the following season. This isn't a 1-year solution. We've talked about this for a year now. I mean, when did the Mikal trade happen? June 30th, July 1st, whenever it was. We're almost at the 1-year mark, and we're already trying to accelerate this shit. We suck. We're horrible. There is no young talent on the team. No, there's no reason for a Giannis. No, there is no reason for a Zion. There is no reason for any of these guys.
Zion is still young, though. You talk
Zion
about
is a fat rapist now, as of right now. As of right now, that's what he is.
Can we not do that? We have no idea if any of those allegations are at least bit true. And look, it's not even legal charges. It's just civil charges, which means she just wants money.
Yeah, that's I don't. Usually 9 times out of 10 when they're just going for money. Like if you really wanted to hurt a rapist, put him in prison. You know,
Right.
That's
Because
how
that's where he belongs, but you don't even want to put him in prison because there's
Yeah.
no evidence to support any of these claims, right? And you're just trying to
regardless.
get him to
Regardless,
pay you.
regardless, he has a problem with women. This is a fact. He is out there in that world where he does stupid shit. I don't think he's a rapist, but the whole Mariah Mills thing, like, I don't need that on top of your obesity issues with McDonald's and Doritos and Mountain Dew. Leave that shit away from me. I do not need it.
It's the Ben Roethlisberger thing. He's addicted to jerking off. He can't kiss.
Oh, Leaf, you can't say that on YouTube? My bad.
What can't we say?
Apparently the R
word?
word. Yeah,
Rapist. You can
yeah,
say it on YouTube. You can't say it on TikTok. I think you can say it on YouTube. All right, I don't know.
I don't
Rapist.
know. Either way,
Rapist.
it was an allegation. It's a quote by them, not me.
Yeah.
But
All right.
regardless, it doesn't matter. This is what my point is. You can't go out of your way to try and accelerate this when it's not ready to be accelerated. You have no pieces around you to accelerate this. Go draft 3 guys in the top 19, trade all these vets, go get a ton of capital back in return or move up in the draft, and wait it out. You have 1 year to do it. It's not going to kill you. I promise you. This year, in a tanking season where we didn't even actually tank and nor did we get rewarded for it, that was the worst year you're going to witness. Next year should be a cakewalk. Everybody's improving. We are likely not improving. We're probably getting younger.
I do want to get back to this Cam Johnson trade because this proposed trade here, you put it on Instagram. Not that you came up with it, but
I was gonna say, let me rephrase that. They put it on Instagram and they just clicked invite. I just clicked accept. They reached out to me like an hour before.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
All right. So an original proposal that I had put out maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. But before we even get into it, I just want to clarify. I don't see Philly being a trade partner with Brooklyn. It does not make sense. The only trade partner that I can see with Philly is Washington, Utah, or maybe. That's probably about it. Yeah, if I'm being honest. I think that's it. And Utah doesn't make sense to move up to 3 because I don't think they want Ace that badly. Washington makes sense. But even if they don't trade the pick, I don't think Ace is the pick for Philly. I think Ace falls.
Okay, let me ask you this question, right? Because he's free fall. There was a year ago, people were actually debating could he be 1 and Cooper Flagg be 2? That was a real conversation that people were having.
Yeah, it was. I mean, at this point in time, Flagg solidified 1, Harper solidified 2. I think Edgecombe is solidified to Charlotte at 4. And again, not to get off topic, but I'm reading these comments. It's kind of easy to accelerate it. No, it's not. I hate the take that everyone is improving next season. They are. Charlotte's improving. They're getting VJ Edgecombe most likely or Malawak, and they're going to be able to improve the roster because they're young. You have Detroit, who's only going to get better. You have Orlando, who's only going to get better. You have Indiana, who's still going to be at the top of the East. You have the Knicks, who are still going to be at the top of the East. You still have Cleveland, who's going to be at the top of the East. You have Boston, who's likely going to still be a play-in, if not low-seed playoff team with that roster and whatever moves they decide to make. You have Washington, who's going to get better. They have Bilal Coulibaly. They have Bub Carrington. They have Alex Sarr. They have Chris Middleton. They have Marcus Smart. They were starting to win games later down the season. You have Utah, who's going to improve. They have 4 or 5 picks in this year's draft. Like, everybody's improving. Everybody already has a foundational piece, right? Utah has Larry Markkinen. If they decide to keep him and they add really solid picks next to him and they're able to move off of guys like Jordan Clarkson, John Collins, and build a roster around them, they can be an 11 through 13 seed, maybe even playing. Who knows, whatever the Suns end up doing. Like, everybody's improving. Nobody's getting extremely worse.
Boston.
Yeah, but even Boston, you have Jaylen Brown and Derek White as your core. That's far better than anything the Nets have. Like, realistically, without injuries.
For sure, they're better than the Nets, for sure.
Realistically, without injuries, the Nets have a bottom 3 roster again next season. It just depends on how the youth plays. We had a bottom 3 roster.
They don't really even, like, what are you expecting from a bunch of rookies, right? Like,
that's my point.
Not top 5 rookies. Guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're expecting a development season, and development means playing your youth and losing. That's how that works. That's organic tanking.
No, I think the Nets are going to be bad for 5 more years at least, minimum.
Oh, I think it's just this year, this upcoming season.
I don't. What's going to change all of a sudden? Like,
well, you're going to still have cap space. You're going to have youth and intriguing. You're going to have a second-year coach now who, if he overachieves again next year, you're talking about one of the hottest destinations in basketball because everybody's going to want to come and play for him. You also have to factor in the fact that if Giannis doesn't get dealt this offseason, he is easily the favorite to land in Brooklyn next year because we'll have the contracts to match up. We'll have the draft capital for the future to go and grab him, and we'll have young, intriguing pieces to build around him who, say one or two of them look really good in their rookie year. Now you're talking about a Celtics-like scenario where you had Kyrie and Hayward, and then you added Tatum and Brown to the draft, and you had that whole little young core, old core, make it work, playoff contender thing. Like there's avenues that you can take to where you can accelerate it next year, but it does not make sense to accelerate shit this year because you don't have your pick next year. You have a top 8 protected pick from Philly that likely is going to be outside of the lottery. You have a Knicks pick in 2027 that's unprotected, which is going to be outside of the lottery. And you have your own pick, which is swap rights to Houston, which means Houston's going to probably be getting a lottery pick if you're not good by then. So 2027, start of the season, you have to be good. There is no excuses. I've been saying this for a year now. This is a 2-year rebuild. You accelerate it after that. You get your core pieces, though, through the draft. You make sure that you have the financial flexibility and add more draft capital to make a move later on. That's how this works. It's 2 years. We got one more year.
Speaking of things I've been saying for over a year, Leaf says there is no tanking anymore. It's not getting rewarded. I've been on this. I had this debate with Doug Norrie 100 times on Twitter.
If you're the worst team in basketball, the worst you get is 5th.
What was that?
I'll take it next. I said if you're the worst team in basketball, the worst you get is 5th. I'll take it. I don't care. You have nothing to win. You're not winning anything this year.
Ultimately, I agree, right? Like the Nets are so bad, the roster's so trash, and there's no hope in sight. I guess just tank, right? Like there's no other better option. But tanking doesn't work, and this is what I've been trying to. It might be our best move on the chessboard because we have nothing. The only thing we have right now is a horrible contract in Nick Claxton and a bad contract in Cam Johnson, right? Yeah. Other than that, there's nothing, and there's not one player really on this roster that I expect to be here 3 years from now. So I guess just tank.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know how.
What else are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna fight hard and show Brooklyn grit and get that 11th seed or a 10th seed, and then you're gonna lose the first game in the play-in? Nobody gives a fuck. Go get the best pick possible. There is a floor and a ceiling to a pick, and the ceiling of your pick is determined on how bad you are as a team. If you are the worst team, the floor of your pick is 5. I'll take 5 all day long.
I think this is Dylan's point, and I want to get to Cam. We're clearly not the worst team in basketball, even though we have the worst looking roster. And that's the problem.
I'm not going to take that into account. You can overachieve 1 year. Utah did it the first year that they tried starting to tank, and then they sucked the next 2 years. They'll figure it out. If they're serious about building a youthful core to intrigue a star, they'll do it. If they want to keep playing this, I'm going to mess around and get that 6 through 10 spot in the draft and hope that it somehow bumps up to 1, even though the Nets have never been a respected organization in the NBA by every commissioner that's ever been here, nobody cares. Go out and make sure you solidify your chance at the worst pick possible. So this way, your worst pick possible isn't as bad as this year's best pick that you just got, which was supposed to be at 6, right?
This was an interesting comment to me from Nate when he said, when was the last time, and Nate's a Knicks fan, and he loves Jalen Brunson. So this was an interesting question to me. When was the last time free agents flocked somewhere for a coach? Jalen Brunson.
I mean, he flocked to his dad.
Okay, well, his dad was a coach, and he had a relationship with Thibodeau, right?
Yeah. Let me go have a daddy-son bonding moment in New York.
I mean, is there another example of I mean, I'm sure you can find some, but Jalen Brunson was the one that jumped top of my mind.
Can you say LeBron going to Miami? Did he want to play with Spoelstra or did he want to play with Wade?
He wanted to play with Wade.
Paul George and Kawhi, did they want to play with, who was the Lakers coach at the time in 2019? Trying to think. Either way, did they want to play with him or did they want to play with Ty Lue? Kawhi was supposed to go to the Lakers, and then he turned down the offer last second and then went to the Clippers. So it's like, it really depends. I think coaches have an impact. I just don't think they're the most impactful piece on a team ever. You need more talent than you do a better coach. Jason Tatum's played with 3 head coaches. He's made the conference finals with all 3 of them. Is it the coach or is it the talent? It's always the talent. Your talent has to be better than your coach.
No, I agree. I mean, a coach still needs dogs to win the fight. Without any dogs, you're not winning the fight.
You could draw up plays to a bunch of 5 foot, people. I'm just going to try and be nice. You know, you could draw up a bunch of plays as the best coach in basketball to a bunch of 5-foot people, and you're not going to win games. You need star talent. You need guys who are going to go out there and give you that 30 plus a game, or guys who are going to give you that double double and high caliber defense. Like, you need players. So the whole like, oh, Jordi Fernandez is the key. No, he's not. He is a piece, just like everybody else. The difference is that you need the superstar talent around that piece to be able to win. So.
All right, I want to get to this Cam Johnson trade. So just like Philly calls you up, Dylan, they offer you this trade. I think I know what your answer is, but how are you responding to this trade?
Yeah, I mean, I take the trade if you're keeping 8.
Okay, you do keep the trade. Okay.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're getting 3 and 8, that's better than 8 and 10. Yeah, I take it, but at the end of the day, it's like, is it realistic? I don't think it is. I think they want 8. I think they're going to ask for Cam Johnson, 8, 19, and their 2027 pick back for 3. And I'm not doing that.
What if they wanted you to take PG's contract in? Would you consider that in any way, shape, or form to get 3?
No, not one bit. 3-4 more years left on a $50+ million deal. I mean, if you want to be bad for the next 5 years, then fuck yeah, go ahead and do it. But that's not helping us. Paul George's contract is the worst contract in basketball currently in terms of length and money and value. He is at Bradley Beal level now.
Here's why I think this trade is doable. The Sixers are in second apron next year if they can't cut any money. And if they're drafting 3, that's another $8 million player guaranteed.
I don't think they're a second apron team.
Next year they will be. I looked up the numbers. So the second apron.
Oh, the following season, like to start this
25-26. Yeah, if they can't cut any money right now, their cap is I'll put it up on the screen. Right now they're at $208 million.
Oh, I'm looking at it as of right now. If you look at their current roster with who they have, they're $18.6 million under the first apron. They have $10.5 million in tax base. Their total cap is $190.
I'm trying to understand how this works. So the total cap allocation is 200. Let's just call it 208, right?
Mm-hmm.
208. So what does that mean exactly? And then the second apron is going to be cut at 207.8. So they're about $100,000 over the second apron.
They'll be over the second apron probably once they grab Quentin Grimes back and maybe Yabusele. But trading Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre, that's only $13.3 million worth of contract. If you're getting Cam Johnson out of that, you're adding $7 million to that.
Right. So they couldn't. What I'm saying is, in order for them to make this trade, they got to trade PG, right?
No, they can.
Am I reading the cap wrong? Because they're at 2 points. They're at 207.9.
So if you go on Fanspo, yeah, if you go on Fanspo here, it shows you their total cap, their total apron, their tax space, and their first apron space. They have $18.6 million right now between the first apron. They have $10.5 million in tax space. So realistically, they can bring in a contract. They can send out money, but take back $10.5 million currently, which won't affect their ability to bring back Quentin Grimes. Once they bring back Quentin Grimes, that would push them over the second apron. But as of right now, they're a below second apron team.
Okay, so bringing back Grimes puts them over the second apron. What do they do with Grimes then? Grimes is going to leave then because you're not going to go over the second apron and put yourself in hell.
Window. Yeah, this is your contending window. You're going to bring him back. You're going to go over the second apron for a year or two, and then you're going to just move off of PG and Embiid when they're expiring contracts. They have nothing else to do. They don't have value for Embiid or PG, so why move?
If you don't trade 3, now you're adding another $8 million player. Where's that money coming from?
Luxury tax.
But you're going to be over the second apron.
Teams don't have problems paying the luxury tax for a year or two, but this isn't like, when Golden State got KD, they're not paying the luxury tax for 6-7 years. Like you're not doing that anymore.
I'm sorry, it's 9 points. I thought it was 8 points. It's $9.2 million. They're going to have to cut some money somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can let players walk. You can try and make additional moves to move off of guys. Like Eric Gordon has a player option. Lonnie Walker has a team option. Jared Butler has a team option. Justin Edwards has a team option. That's like a combined $10 million right there. Moving off of Oubre and Drummond would be another $13.3 million. So that's $23 million. That's already giving you the contract to get Cam Johnson, right? So you would have $3 million
Oubre has
available
some
cap
value,
space.
right?
Oubre
I
has
think
value, yeah.
yeah.
And the
He's
other
on a pretty
reason why
good
this trade
contract,
doesn't
too.
even work is because Oubre and Drummond have player options. They're not available until the offseason. So the only way that trade works is if you're making that trade once the offseason begins.
Right. Or, I mean, yeah, in essence, Philly would be drafting for you, right?
Yeah.
They would be drafting Ace Bailey for us.
Yeah, watch. They would draft Trey Johnson and be like, here. And I'll be like, no.
Well,
I was going to say, we're going to get into that because there is a scenario where they actually take Trey Johnson at 3. Do you want to pull up
all right. You want to do that now? Let's do that.
Yeah,
now.
pull up Fanspo. We'll just do the lottery. We're only going to do the first 14 picks because this is genuinely a potential scenario based on rumors and reports on what could potentially happen. Like, it's nuts the amount of movement that you can see. So click on tools.
Crap. Hang on.
I know these fucking ads are ridiculous on here now. They're floating up left and right.
Tools.
Yep. Click on
Mock Draft Simulator.
Mm-hmm. And then click restart.
I'm getting it.
And then scroll to the bottom. Yep, NBA's clicked.
So draft.
All right, so start.
Wait,
draft.
How do I change this? Just lottery.
Oh yes. Go up. Go up a little bit.
Lottery.
Click lottery. Yeah. All right. So first pick flag. We already know that. Here, I'm going to read off of the one that I did.
All right.
Second pick, we're going to do a trade.
Okay.
It's going to be with Milwaukee. And I'm not going to go into detail. Like, just we can write in.
Yeah, we understand the nuts and bolts of the trade. Yeah.
Yeah. Give a pick 2 and 38, and then just say Giannis trade in the description.
Where the hell is Milwaukee on this thing?
They're at like 49 or something, 47.
47. Okay.
So just give up 2 and 38, and then just write in the description Giannis trade, because realistically, they'd be getting a ton of picks and players back in return. I'm just not typing it all out.
Okay.
All right, so the Bucks go Harper. And then you have Philly at 3. It's crazy, but just play with me now here. Pause, but you get what I'm saying. Go Trey Johnson.
All right, I just elevator pitch. Why the hell is Trey Johnson going 3?
Because I saw a report yesterday stating that there's a chance Ace falls and that Philly is incredibly intrigued by Trey Johnson.
Wouldn't VJ go at 3 then? Why? I mean, what?
Trey's flying up boards. I don't see the fit either. I'm just basing it off of reports and rumors that I'm seeing. That's all this lottery is. Like, if you were to just package up all these rumors and reports into one draft lottery, this is what it could potentially look like. So Charlotte goes VJ. And then I'm going to have New Orleans trade up 2 spots with Utah.
All right, hang on. Utah is trading up with New Orleans, you said, right?
Yep.
So,
and you're going to give up, give up 5 for 7. We're just going to say New Orleans adds in a future pick or something, whatever.
5 for 7 plus future picks.
Yep.
Okay.
New Orleans is going to take Jeremiah Fears.
I don't like this draft already. Go on.
Hey, they already said New Orleans and Brooklyn are the 2 teams looking to try and move up for Fears. Realistically, we know Sean Marks doesn't have the balls to get what we actually need, so it'll be New Orleans.
I was trying to trade up here to Washington to get 6.
I would have Washington just straight up select Ace. If Ace is there at 6, you have to take him.
Agreed.
And then that kind of screws Utah, who was hoping that he would fall, so they go Con Kneppel. Here they go with their second option. They love Kneppel. They were looking at him at 5. And that leaves Brooklyn with Kaman at 8. Toronto misses out on Giannis. They could look to pivot to KD potentially, but for this scenario, we're going to say that they don't. They'll just stick and draft. I'm going to say Carter Bryant here.
Carter Bryant, comp him to Broadway Barrett. Is it a similar player?
I don't even know who that is. Oh, RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett. Yeah.
Yes and no. I don't know. I don't really know the comp for him yet. It's kind
Okay.
of difficult to figure out an exact comp. Here's where I'm going to make things interesting. Brooklyn trades up to 10. It has already been reported that Houston was looking at a deal similar to San Antonio with Minnesota last year. And if you remember that deal, it was 2 future picks for the rights to Rob Dillingham. So we're going to do 10 to Brooklyn. We're going to give up 26. We're going to give up the Knicks 2027 pick.
Okay, 26 and 27. Okay.
No, keep 27.
Keep 27.
Yeah. Scroll down to the description. You're going to say Nets give up pick 26. The 2027 Knicks pick, unprotected.
2027 Knicks pick.
Yep. And they're also going to give up the Knicks 2029 pick, top 8 protected. So we'll add a protection to it. So this way, if it's top 8, we get it back. If not, they get it. But regardless, this is what a non-Cam Johnson to move up to 10 trade could look like. And if you're able to keep Cam Johnson in that scenario, I'm working on one right now where the Nets could potentially have 3 lottery picks, but it's unrealistic, but something interesting to look at. Brooklyn takes Noah Senge here. And then
do we have to take a Senge? Is he? Yeah.
Yeah. By far. The way that he's rising, there's no doubt in my mind that he's the pick there.
I'd rather have any of these 3 guys. I'm just saying.
Oh, God. No. Asa Noel goes here at 11 to Portland. Then you're going to have Chicago go with
Queen's dropping out of the top 10. Do you think that's realistic? Like, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a single person has him mocked in the top 10.
Derek Queen?
He's a defensive liability.
All right.
And Chicago makes the most sense for him. They need the Nikola Vucevic replacement. And then you have Atlanta here at 13. In the scenario that I'm going to post later today, I do have Brooklyn trading up for a 3rd lottery pick with Atlanta. That would include Cam Johnson. But we're not going to do it here. Go Colin Murray-Boyles here at 13. And then we're going to have Phoenix trade with San Antonio. This is going to be the KD trade. So scroll down to the trade.
Trade pick. Here's.
And then you're going to go to 29, which is Phoenix. You're going to give up 14 to Phoenix, and then just say KD trade in the description. I'm not getting into details, but oh wait, hold on, I'm sorry. Oh shit, I just realized that okay. Never mind. I already had Giannis get traded to San Antonio.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that. Okay. Let's see. Click trade partner.
Oh.
I want to see the other teams that are available.
The Brooklyn Nets.
Fuck it. For this scenario, why not us? Do it. Do Cam Johnson pick 27. Actually, you know what? Do pick 19. It's just more realistic. I don't see them getting 4 top 19 picks. That's ridiculous. Keep 27. And then we'll probably just end up trading that later on. But yeah.
Wait, hang on. So I give them 19. All right, that's right.
Yeah, give them 19 and 36.
Right.
Plus Cam Johnson, you'll get back Keldon Johnson and pick 14. Could you imagine that the Nets having 3 lottery picks?
Cam Johnson.
I'd shit myself. If this is how Sean Marks was working on draft lottery night, never a word for him again.
So hang on. It's Cam Johnson, 29, 27, and 36. Wait, no, 19 and 36 for Keldon Johnson and 14.
Yep.
Let's go.
And then you get Demon. Could you imagine Demon, Senge, and Malloy as your 3 lottery picks? That's absurd. That is ridiculous. But I mean, I kind of fucked up with the Spurs thing because I didn't realize they did 2 Spurs trades, which doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I mean, you could have this be interchangeable. Do they go after Giannis and give up 2, or do they go for KD and give up 14? Like, it really doesn't matter which scenario it is. But there is a realistic world where Brooklyn gets like 3 lottery picks if they play their cards right. I'm willing to give up value to move up to 10 while keeping Cam Johnson and moving him. The scenario that I have is I have Brooklyn moving up for the same package to 10, and then I also have them moving up to 13 with Atlanta for Cam Johnson. So, well,
No, I don't want a jersey that says Queen on the back, Lou. I'm not wearing. I'm not wearing a Rudy Gay jersey. I'm not wearing a Derek.
Playing Queens.
I'm not wearing a Derek Queen
playing
jersey.
Queens. What do you mean?
They do. They do. Be good, Lou. All right. So real quick, you're high on Noah Sengue. I would have taken any of the other three guys that were available. Denham, Asa Noel. I forget who else was there. Boyles, maybe. Oh no, Igor. Igor was there. Igor.
Yeah, Igor.
I would have taken any of those guys. Why am I trading up for? I don't know his game.
Oh, get familiar with it, dude. This dude is rising up boards. He is I believe a day older than Cooper Flagg. He is one of the youngest prospects in this draft with one of the highest upsides. And if you've watched him over the past couple of weeks over in the international playoffs, at his age playing against grown men, he is one of, if not the best player on his team currently. He's absolutely killing it. The proposed trade that I have with Atlanta is, let's see, I have it saved. It'll be posted later. I have Cam Johnson pick 19 and pick 36 to Atlanta for the 13th pick, Terrence Mann and Georges Niang. So you move 6 spots back, you get an additional second, and you get Cam Johnson.
I think that's a good trade.
I think that's more. If Houston's serious about adding future draft capital to have a more intriguing offer for when Devin Booker becomes available, I think that makes a ton of sense. If you can straight up give up 2 first-round picks in the future plus 26 to move up to 10, do it. I think it'll take 19. But even if that's the case, right? Say you're giving up 19, a Knicks unprotected 2027, and a top 8 protected, maybe even top 10 protected Knicks 2029, right? Say that's the trade, and then you're giving up, 26, 27, and Cam Johnson for 13, Terrence Mann and Niang. Like the scenarios are endless, but there are realistic routes where you could get 3 lottery picks. There's no reason with the assets that we have that you can't make that happen. It just depends on if they want to do it. Like, I'm willing to do that. I would pay 3 rookies lottery money to start my rebuild.
My concern is now you've traded away all of your capital, and I still only have 1 pick in next year's draft. I'm really trying to get again in next year's draft.
So remember this, right? You have, so let's just say everything works out the way that I just did it, right? So it would be 26, the 2 future firsts for 10. It would be 19, 36 and Johnson for 13. Say you trade 27 for a future protected first, whatever the case may be. You can still move off of Claxton and get some draft capital back in return for him. You would still have the 28 swap. You have the protected pick from the Knicks, and you would still have the 2031 unprotected first. You still have the worst swap rights to the Suns, Rockets, Dallas trade, which is kind of useless to us, but it'll be a trade chip. You still have your own picks in 28, 29, 30, 31. And then you also have to remember after draft night, 2032 draft picks begin being tradable. So you still have 10 plus first round picks. Like you have the draft capital that you currently have. But it just depends on if you really value this draft class or not. And if it is that hard to get a 2026 first, why not fully invest into this one? Like if nobody's willing to give up that 2026 first, then invest in this. Go get a bunch of youthful players to develop this year. Try and land your guy next year and accelerate the rebuild.
Where do you think we have to pick in next year's draft to get a franchise-changing player? Top 3?
Top 4. I'm going to say top 4.
Who's the 4th guy? Boozer, Devansa,
Boozer, Devansa, Peterson, and Nate Ament.
Okay.
Nate Ament reminds me of the hype that Asenge is starting to get now, but earlier, meaning because Nate's going into college this year rather than already playing professionally or in college. He reminds me a lot of Asenge, lengthy, 6'10", incredible floor. Like Nate is a better offensive player than Asenge is. They're both very good defensively. To me, Nate would be a better player than Asenge. It's just different year. Got to do different things. So, but next year's class is stacked from top to bottom. I put out a list, I think, of players. I'm going to see if I can find it. This is a list of, have 60 players already currently that I'm looking at for 2026. So I'll just name you the top 20 because that's the most important. You have Darren Peterson, AJ DeBansta, Cam Boozer, Nate Ament, Chris Sinak, he's a center, Dash Daniels, that's Dyson's brother, Elijah Arenas, Jaden Quintons, he's the center from Arizona State that just transferred to Kentucky. You have that Tonda Yesafwa dude, the guy heading to Baylor that looks exactly like Anthony Edwards. You have Kareem Lopez from overseas, Darius Acuff, one of my favorite point guard prospects next year, Caleb Wilson, Isaiah Harwell, Kopet, Braden Burris, Dame Sarr, Mikel Brown, Isaiah Evans is going to be in next year's draft, LeBaron Filan, Bennett Sturts, Tahad Pettiford, Donnie Freeman, JT Toppin, Carter Knox, Yaxel Lendeborg. Like, you're going to have guys, Boogie Flan. The next year's draft class is even more stacked than this year simply because a lot of guys from this year went back to school. So next year's the draft to try and add more capital, yes, but if you don't, then you're just banking on your pick. And I can live with that. You also have to remember, too, the Nets have 2 second-round picks. So if a team, values those 2 seconds, maybe you can trade both of those and future seconds to move up into the late first round. There's ways that you can make it work. But overall, I think because of how hard it's going to be to get a 2026 pick, especially if you're moving Johnson and Claxton and not getting a 26 pick in return, at that point, just fully invest in this one. I would go three lottery picks for sure. Do I think it's realistic? No. But if there's a world where you can get 3 lottery picks, then by all means do it. Appreciate
Danny
that,
Wolf,
Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Leaf Diggy, Wolf and Maxime Reynard.
Can we get? Oh my! I'm gonna crash the fuck out. Can we get over upperclassmen with little to no fucking upside? I'm so tired. Maxime Reynard is Brooke Lopez. He's fucking Brooke Lopez. That's it.
That's a good player. That's
a
one of the best
player.
Players in the history of a franchise.
In today's NBA, that is a backup big. I'm not.
Leaf, I'm posting the link, Leaf. I come on, hop on the show, Leaf. I want you to. I don't really understand the Maxime Reynard thing, but I'd love to hear you explain. Because I think Leaf's he's certainly
he doesn't watch college basketball. He doesn't watch college basketball.
I'd like to hear him make the argument.
Love Leaf. Leaf is cool as shit. His input sucks with college basketball. He doesn't even follow college basketball.
I give you the link, Leaf. Jump on, defend yourself. Explain why this is blasphemy.
I can't do this again. I don't have enough water to fucking.
You do. You always have enough energy to argue with Leaf. Arguing with Leaf is one of the
arguing with Leaf is just fun because he makes it fun. I've never heard somebody scream so loud in my life talking ball. It's great. Get in here, Leaf.
Until he jumps on, and I'm confident Leaf will jump on.
I can't stand the upperclassmen bullshit. Danny Wolf has upside. I can get behind that, but again, I'm not taking him before Sorber, Queen, or Malawak. And you have the opportunity to draft all 3 of those guys before Wolf. I'm not doing it. It doesn't make sense. Reynard for sure as shit does not make sense. It's just go get youth. It's not hard. Hi, Leaf.
What up, Skull? What up, Skull? Leaf's here.
Let's go. Here. Oh, he's in the car today, too. He's going to be extra loud. Here we go.
Dylan, I'm trying really hard to allow you to adjust yourself in the front office of an organization that is completely dog water right now, bro. But I don't think I don't think you're seeing how fast things can pivot. The thing is that everything that you're saying, bro, like sticking to this, I appreciate you sticking to the same game plan in terms of the 2-year rebuild and everything that you said, but
I can't get easily advertised with false hope again. I don't.
I mean, listen, I try not to as well because Breezy be really trying my patience on his page, bro. Like, it's a lot of Nets fans that be really trying my patience.
Flip-flopping is pathetic, which is why this team has never done a damn thing. You have to stay a course or you have to go all in. There's no
I would agree with you. I would agree with you in that standpoint in terms of like the flip flopping doesn't make sense. But in this particular CBA, I mean, that's
my question though. So you're saying go get all these players who may not have much upside but can help you win now in terms of like Danny Wolf, he could be a starting big maybe right off the bat and be solid on a contending team. Who are you adding this offseason to accelerate this rebuild? Who is it?
To accelerate the rebuild, I already said it. I said I'm adding well now that we don't want Kaminga, but Kaminga was the
I want
initial plan.
Kaminga. I want
Even
Yeah,
Kaminga.
I don't
what is your
mind
next time?
Kaminga. I don't mind Kaminga for 30, bro. I don't, because the money
Okay,
gonna go
okay,
up.
so all right,
No,
all right.
I'm hold on. Let me
Let me
finish.
no, wait.
Let me finish. Let me
So
finish
say
saying
you
the
get
rest of my
Kaminga for 30.
people.
Say you get
Look,
Kaminga for 30.
Let me finish.
Okay,
Let me
you're adding Danny
finish
Wolf.
saying the
Who else
rest of
are
my
you adding?
people before you shoot it down. Hold on. I said Nas Reed. I said Kaminga. I said Cam Thomas.
Okay, so you're
And
entering borderline second apron now.
I mean, it
What,
depends.
let's just say
It
you're giving.
depends on how the money go.
Let's say you're giving Cam Thomas 20. You're giving Nas 25, so that's 45 a year. You're giving Kaminga 30, that's 75 a year. How many picks do you have in this year's draft? 3 or 4?
Like about four first rounds and one on second.
No, I know what picks we have. I'm saying, are you making?
Are you
trades
using
to
the
move
picks?
up?
Are you?
Yeah, the usage of the picks. How many rookies do they bring in then?
The rookies that they bring in to play, one, and that's the top 10 pick.
So they're only bringing in one pick.
Well, the one pick to play.
Play, the rest of
You
the-
can have the other.
How many rookies do they come in and bring in?
on the
press
roster. How many
conference
are on the
and sign a
roster?
contract? How many?
How
are
many
coming
on the roster? Oh, on the roster.
in? Is it 3 or 4?
On the roster is 3 depending on the contract.
Okay, so let's just say that's a combined 13 million in contracts coming inward. So now you're looking at 88 million total before you even hit the next season, right? Are you keeping Claxton and Johnson?
No, you definitely got it. You definitely got to shop them for expirings. You got to shop them.
Okay, so you're
try to
looking at
shop them for
salary matches and
expirings.
matches.
Yeah.
you're
Try to
looking at
shop.
So salary matches and then draft capital in return, right? So you're still getting this. Okay, so you're going to add Johnson's $20.5 million salary to the 88 because you're getting expiring contracts that equal value. So you're now looking at 109 million roughly plus Claxton's 24 million. So you're looking at 135 million total. So that's off of just 9 players. You have 6 roster spots to continue to fill this team, and you have about 40 million before you start hitting an apron. So what else are you doing?
I mean, for the rest of that, bro, like shit. I mean, shit. We done nine players that's gonna get paid and be in rotation, and then the other 6 probably some G League 2-way efforts. That's come on, bro. That's not
You're
a
trying to
bad
stay
idea.
under the aprons.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so let's just say theoretically your total cap space is at 155 million. You should still be under the first apron with that.
Yeah.
You are
we was under this year. We was 100. We was 100 and like beginning of this past season. We was like 160 something. With
you bring
Simmons.
Dayron and D'Lo back.
You bring Dayron and D'Lo back.
D'Lo's getting 14 million a year. Dayron's getting 10.
I'm cool with Dayron. D'Lo could go.
Because the realistic scenario, from what we've heard, is D'Lo's likely to come back. So let's just say that you factor in that, right? So okay, so 14 million, so that you're at around 149 plus the 10 million, you're at 159. That's for 11 to 12 players. So you could probably fill out the rest of the roster with league minimums in 2 ways, like you said. So you'll stay under the aprons, but now you have a starting lineup that consists of D'Lo, Cam Thomas, Kaminga, Nas Reed, Dayron Sharpe. You have 3 rookies off the bench. You have Derek, you have Clowney, you've got a potential drafted center, you have a potential drafted point guard, you have a potential drafted wing. That's a play-in team. What does that mean?
I mean, shit.
That's an 8-9 seed at best in the East.
It seemed to be doing fine for Dallas and Atlanta, bro. Like, I mean, but just to laugh,
that's not
just to giggle at the picks, but I mean, but at best, bro, that's a 40-something win team, bro, in the East. Like, look, come on, we won 20-something games with this
34 to 36.
We won 20-something.
That's probably
we won
11 seed.
We won Dylan. All right. Obviously, we talking verbatim and we talking theatrics right now because
that's a realistic seeding. Because let's be honest, they're not going to be better than the Knicks. They're not going to be better than the Cavs. They're not going to be better than the Magic. They're not going to be better than the Pacers. So that's already 4. They're not going to be better than Detroit, that's 5. They're likely not going to be better than Toronto, that's 6. They're not going to be better than possibly Atlanta. And you may not even be better than Boston. So 8 through 11 is realistic, no?
8 through 11 is 7 to 11 is realistic.
So that's my point, though. What does that do for you? What is a play-in loss, and now your pick being in a worst floor case scenario of 9 through 13? What does that do for you?
It probably gets you a lottery pick. It probably gets you a top pick.
It's an improvement, and it's probably going to get us a lottery pick.
But
why isn't it a long-term improvement? We'll probably be doing this. See that the record that you just gave us, bro. We wouldn't be doing the same thing, bro, if we had a 2026 and a 2027 pick leading our team after 2028. We have that same record, bro, and you'll be okay with that. It's an improvement no matter what. In this CBA, hold on, wait. In this CBA, bro, like
you're talking about improvements. There is no improvements in the NBA. You're either getting a good pick or you're making a true contention run in the playoffs. There's none of this in between participation trophy bullshit.
So what did the Pistons do?
Participation trophies. Nobody fucking.
So what did the Pistons do? Did they make an improvement?
Playoffs.
They made the playoff. Right.
Not the play-in, playoffs.
They made the playoffs.
Okay, playoffs with that roster.
So okay, fine. So if we not getting it, so basically, if we put this roster together, bro, if we not at least a 5 or 6 seed, bro, it's a failure to you.
Yes. Okay. When you have the opportunity of landing 3 high upside players in the top 19 of this draft class, with the possibility of landing a top 5 pick in a loaded class next year, you're potentially drafting 2 stars, let's just say, over next 2 draft classes.
But let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If we get a bunch of decent players and we're just missing a star, and let's say we go to the play-in, we get the 10 seed, and we lose in the play-in. It's not. Wouldn't you say the NBA is more likely to give us one of those top 4 picks than if we just suck? Like
no,
if we
because
just suck,
whenever you expect something, it's not going to happen. Stay the course.
Whenever you expect something that's not going to happen,
look at it this way: we were all expecting Flagg or Harper, right? That didn't happen. Then we were all expecting Fears. That's likely now not going to happen. We're expecting a second lottery pick. Let's be honest. It's Sean Marks. Probably not going to happen. What now? You want to expect? Okay, all right. So 1 year of tanking didn't work, even though they didn't even actually tank. So let's abandon it next year. Try and make the play-in for a lower floor pick, and then hope that the NBA gods.
But doesn't the pick will realistically have a higher ceiling because the teams that pick 1 and 2 are usually pretty decent teams and not terrible teams. The NBA doesn't reward losing.
But the Nets don't have the roster to be even considered in that conversation.
I'm trying to put the roster together, bro, so we can have one piece away.
So let me answer this then. We came out to about 160 to 170 million in total cap space next year, right? Based on the roster that you tried to make. Okay, you're trading half of that for a star. You don't have the cap space to sign a guy now. So
But hold up, we still got our picks, bro. We don't have to trade it for a star. We could trade it for a fit, bro. Like we could be a point guard. We could be a facilitator.
So you're trying to build a roster that doesn't really have that necessary superstar, just all around good. That it worked for one team and it worked for Pacers.
Indiana did it.
One team. That doesn't mean it can be duplicated. Tyrese Halliburton's a star. Pascal Siakam's a star. Where's our star?
Bro, I mean, listen. Look.
Naz Reid is not a star. Cam Thomas is not a star. Where's the star?
Listen, fine.
Kuminga is not a star. As of this very moment in time, Kuminga is not a star.
Granted, but
granted. So somebody got to be a legitimate star, bro, for you to jump on, bro. Then you're gonna be waiting years, bro. Like the thing is,
I'm gonna be waiting a year and a half at most.
You're not gonna be waiting a year and a half, bro, because the player that
high upside prospects over the next 2 years, you're hoping 2 of those hit. Let's just say in the worst case scenario, 1 of them is likely to become a star. You have your star. You have 3 high upside role player starting caliber players. You then have the necessary funds and draft capital to go out and grab a player. without having to gut your team and ruin all of the youth or ruin all the necessary role players that you added along the way. That's completely realistic. You don't have your pick in 27. It's swap right to Houston. Houston will get a guaranteed lottery pick if Brooklyn is not involved in some form of playoff contention by 2027. That is.
I don't see how we're in a playoff, barring some kind
I
of
don't
miracle.
see how we're getting in that playoff contention
Yeah.
in 27, bro. Without doing what I suggested.
I'm with Leaf
Bruh,
on this.
like
because
you trying to get us to tank another year, and then after that year, bro, like have a rookie and have a rookie that's probably going to be a top that supposedly in your mind
on a contending team. Jason Tatum was a rookie on a contending team. If you land a top 3 pick and you're able to get the star in the offseason while already having 3 young players that you draft this year in the top 19,
the Jason Tatum thing was an anomaly, and you know it, bro. Like, listen,
Flag's about to be another anomaly then, because he's going to be on a contending team where he's going to be one of the best players.
We don't know that because that team fell to pieces, bro. No, we don't. We don't know that because Kyrie is going to be out until at least January. So they don't have no guard. They got
to. They have the ability to trade for Drew Holiday right now. They have the ability to move in on guys like Lonzo Ball. They have abilities to do these things and improve the roster. But the basis of their team, they still have Naj Marshall, Caleb Wilson, Max Christie, Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Cooper Flag. That's already 9 players.
Yeah, right. But the problem with that particular situation is that you're leaning on AD as a number 1 at this point in his career to make you a legitimate team in a legitimate 1 through 6 team in the West. That's not likely to happen.
They're going all in.
I know they're going all in, and it might fall apart, bro. It's a good chance that it's a good chance that it's going to fall apart because their top players,
more likely than not that they make it to the second round of the playoffs next year.
Listen, I got them doing a whole bunch of other shit, and that's my own thing, bro. And I just went off the rails when I said it. The problem is when you got AD leading the pack without Kyrie most of the season, bro, and at this point in their careers. At this age and this standpoint in their careers, bro, it's likely that the shit is gonna fall apart before it gets better. Cooper Flag, bro, is gonna be asked to be a role player, bro, like before he's giving the ball and doing his own thing.
What Jason Tatum was until. So think about it this way: you're putting Cooper Flag in Jason Tatum's exact scenario. Jason Tatum was drafted.
But Cooper Flag don't have Jason Tatum ability.
Hold on. Yes, he does. Hold on.
What?
What do you mean?
I'm with Dylan. I think that's a good comp. I think that's. I do. Yeah.
He's lesser offensively currently, but even if you look at his offensive ability, he averaged 19 at Duke. That's similar in numbers to Tatum, and he was more efficient than Tatum in college from both the field and the 3.
Never mind college, bro. Like I'm talking about. Listen, I'm positive, bro. Like if you go back to Jason Tatum rookie year, bro, like it looks 10 times better, bro. Like in the spot that he was in, even in Boston, bro. Even in the East, it reminds you that they were in the East. You can't even outside of them in Cleveland. You can't name me the 3rd or 4th best team in the East at that time. Toronto. With DeMar DeRozan, bro. Come on, bro. Like, let's stop.
Yeah, they were the first seed in the East one year with DeRozan and Lowry.
Yeah, back in 2016 when they won 60 games that one year, and Bismack Biyombo got them 2 wins, bro. So like, and then they didn't. Yeah, shit happens. They ran into LeBron and got swept.
The comparison to Flag to Tatum's career start is exactly the same. You had Kyrie and Hayward, who were 2 stars that came to Boston the year that Tatum was drafted there. Hayward got hurt in game 1. Kyrie was in and out of the rotation, right? So now you had Tatum step up to be the star. Okay, so what if Anthony Davis goes down and Kyrie's already hurt?
The problem with that scenario is Boston had way better role players than Dallas, and
how so? They have Najee Marshall, they have Caleb Wilson, they have Max Christie, they have Klay Thompson, they have Daniel Gafford, they have PJ Washington. These are all really good role players.
Right, and but the difference between those role players and the role players that Boston had, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals a year before Tatum got there with Isaiah Thomas.
And Dallas was in the finals last year.
Yeah, Dallas was in the finals last year, and this year they wasn't. They was in the play-in at 10. So the reality, if everything that you said is true about the West and the teams getting better, and all of these teams getting better, bro, Dallas could be on the outside looking in, bro, if the injuries go left.
You have to think Denver's going to probably take a step back. They have minimal ways to improve the roster. Phoenix
take a step back where?
What? Wait, what?
Take a step back where? It's not. They're not going to be. They're not going to be a playing team.
Dominant. They're not going to be dominant.
They ain't going to be a playing team neither.
They very well could be a playing team. Let's just put it this way: if San Antonio gets one of Giannis or KD, they're better than Denver. That's factual, correct?
San Antonio, if they get one of Giannis or who?
Or KD.
If they get Giannis, they better. If they get KD, they're going to fall to pieces.
De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, KD, Dylan
If they
Harper,
get Kevin Durant, they're going to fall to pieces. KD is only playing 50 games.
He played 60+ this year.
Yeah, he played 60+ this year, bro. Like, and then and what happened with that? The Suns did what?
Yeah, because they had no roster around him. You're giving him Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper as his core.
Bruh,
like, what are we talking about? All right, so like I said, play along for a second. You have Houston, who's going to be most likely better than Dallas just because of the way that the injuries are working with Dallas and whatnot. So you have Houston, you have OKC, so that's 2. You have potentially San Antonio if they grab a player. You have I think you can compare Golden State and Denver as the team in that 6 through 7 range. One of them falls to the play-in. I think that's just how that works.
Where's the Lakers and the Clippers in the scenario?
5 through 7.
5 through 7. Okay, so boom. So you got about 6
so
to 7 teams.
You have a very close race between 4 and 8 currently between Dallas, Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, and Nuggets. That's your 4 through 8 race right there.
I could guarantee you, bro, Dallas will fall apart.
We'll see. They just landed the number 1 overall prospect. Who is incredible. Who is
incredible, but he's also listen, he is incredible, but he's also from Duke, bro. Like, and we all know how them products last.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving, number 1 overall pick, multi-time All-Star, champion. Paolo Banchero.
Paolo Banchero. And don't forget Zion.
Jason Tatum.
At some point they all fell apart, bro. Like, listen, don't let cross my fingers, man. Cross my heart, bro. But
those top 3 Duke picks have always been successful.
Listen, I guess, man, if you want to call that success, bro, like, I mean, it is what it is.
Champion, multi-time All-Star, number 1 overall pick, Kyrie Irving. He's a Hall of Famer, correct?
He might be, depending on how the NBA look at him.
Has made the playoffs every year of his career. Borderline MVP. He's likely to be a Hall of Famer if he comes back for at least 2-3 years and plays at the rate that he was playing, correct?
Tatum's already a Hall of Famer. There's no one with his accolades that hasn't made the Hall of Fame.
All right. And then you have, who was the last name that I mentioned?
Paolo. But he's not a Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. The rate that he's
you did mention Paolo, bro.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Grant Hill is a Hall of Famer, man. Go figure.
Duke players that are notable are Hall of Famers most likely.
Yeah,
2 of which are definite, 1 of which has the possibility to be.
Before Grant Hill got injured, he was on pace to change the NBA.
But what I'm trying to tell you about Duke products in general, no disrespect, they fall apart at the worst possible time. Listen, don't get me wrong. Tatum and Kyrie, yes, they are champions, bro. Like, yes, they did have supreme squads around them when they did win, and yes, they were all-stars. But they tend to fall apart at the worst possible time, bro. And we all know it.
Let my Duke fandom come out for a second. Don't you think it's a bit funny that we have this talk about, oh, Duke players don't end up succeeding? Do you ever think it's just because of how many Duke players end up in the NBA? There's more of a failure rate because there's more players in the league from Duke.
No,
Duke, Kentucky.
There was a time.
That's not necessarily it. Yeah. What y'all have is top heavy. What y'all have is top heavy talent. No. What y'all have.
You put in the more likely chance there is that you're going to.
No, that's I would like to agree with that, but that shit ain't the truth. The truth is y'all got top heavy talent, bro. That's supposed to fill out and become this and become all-time greats. Grant Hill was supposed to become an all-time great, bro. He fell apart at the worst possible time. Kyrie, bro, was arguably supposed to be a top 10 point guard of all time, bro. He fell apart in times of his career at the worst possible
let me ask you
time.
a question. Lee. What do you? Let me ask Lee a question. Lee, what
Zion Williamson is supposed to be the next best thing, and he's falling apart.
And that worked out perfectly. But Lee, let me ask you a question.
It didn't work out perfectly because he's fumbling the bag.
Hold on, I'm going to start
You're
in
making like a
2006.
fair point. I'm just not like sure what you're arguing. Like you're saying, if you go to Duke, you'll have an injury-plagued career. I mean, but like, you know, like correlation doesn't equal.
Bro, it's a common knowledge, bro, that Duke products, bro, are cursed with injuries.
Let me start in 1994. I'm just going to name you the most notable prospects that have come. Grant Hill, Corey Maggot, Elton Brand, Shane Battier, Carlos Boozer, Mike Dunleavy, Jay Williams, Luol Deng, J.J. Redick, Gerald Henderson, Kyle Singler, Kyrie Irving, Austin Reeves, Mason Plumlee, Rodney Hood, Jabari Parker, Tyus Jones, Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum, Luke Kennard, Gary Trent Jr., Grayson Allen, Wendell Carter Jr., Marvin Bagley, R.J. Barrett, Zion Williamson, Trey Jones, Jalen Johnson.
Oh, hold on. Wait, Dylan, slow down.
Eric Lively, Kyle Filipowski, Jared McCain.
Dylan, slow down.
25. Where'd you get lost?
Nah. I just hit my knee, bro. Like my knee hurt, bro. Like just saying that shit. My bad. Oh, damn. I got fucked up. I gotta go Oh man. Oh, it hurt bad.
You all right, bro?
Good luck, man.
While he was fumbling off the names, bro, my knee just cramped up, bro, out of nowhere, bro. I don't know what happened.
It'd be like that, man. That means rain's coming tomorrow. Let me check the forecast. Actually,
might be them Duke products that you named off, man. My bad.
Hey, listen. The last couple of years worth of Duke products have been more hit than they have been missed. Jared McCain looks to be a solid player in this league. Filipowski looks to be a solid player in this league. Lively looks to be a solid player in this league. Paolo's an all-star. Mark Williams, when healthy, is a really good player in this year. Jalen Johnson looks to be a potential all-star.
You just name me players, bro. You just name me players with a lot of talent, bro, and I like their talent, bro. But the problem is that we all know that just to move on from this topic, bro. They get injured at the worst possible time, bro. Like, and everything that
school that they go to, everybody at some point in their career likely gets hurt. Kevin Durant went to Texas. He got hurt.
It happens. It happens most, but he had 12 years of dominance before he got hurt, bro. Like Jason Tatum
didn't have dominance.
Not 12 years of it.
And a champion. And
not 12 years of it. Not 12 years of it, bro. You just said Kevin Durant, and then you moved to Kyrie Irving, bro. That's not the same thing.
Kyrie's third year in the league is when LeBron got there, right? So what is that, 2014, 2015? So from
I think his third, fourth in it.
So from 2014 onward, he's been an all-star. That's 10 years of dominance now.
His third, fourth year in the league. Wait, hold on. I gotta go look back at that because I'm not at my computer right now.
Kyrie was drafted in 2011. LeBron went back to Cleveland in what was it, 2014 or was it 2015? I think it was 14.
I think he went back. I think
it was the 2015 finals.
So it was 2014, 2015.
LeBron went back to Cleveland in 2014.
So from 2014 onward, Kyrie Irving has been an all-star pretty much every year. No, outside of injuries.
Yeah, I mean, but
he's been a champion. He's been to the finals 4 times. Yes.
What I'm paying attention to, Dylan, is the games played. I'm not paying attention to the talent. All of those players that you mentioned, bro. Like I think yeah, but I'm paying attention to the games.
Every player gets hurt at some point in time.
Not
injuries. He's from Kentucky. Emmanuel
not more. I mean, but the Duke products get injured the most.
Kentucky products get hurt too. Cat, Devin Booker, Emmanuel Quickley, De'Aaron Fox has gotten hurt in his career. Like, what does that mean? Every player in basketball gets hurt at some point.
Dylan, do you know this guy Peoples?
Yeah.
The Duke products, bro. The Duke products that you name, bro, arguably have some of the most efficient talent.
You know Peoples? What's good, Gary?
All right. I got you. I've never seen you name any before. What's up, my man? What's up?
That's all good. No. I just want to say, yo, Dylan, Leaf, Gary, be honest, man. Yo, I know y'all not excited about the fucking 8th pick, man. That shit is depressing.
No, I'm not excited about the 8th pick. The 8th pick is historically bad. That's what I keep telling people.
Pick, Leaf. That shit's been depressing. Yo, I swear to God, Mavs and shit.
I gotta go back inside. I'll hit y'all up.
Y'all
Be
better
good,
not
Leaf.
watch the
Later, Leaf.
Mavs. Y'all better not watch the Mavs or Spurs or all the motherfuckers, Dylan. Don't watch these guy teams, man. Don't watch. I can't believe they got it. I feel like you guys ever seen Casino? You remember when he had his fucking head in the vice? He was like Charlie M for fucking Charlie M. That's how I feel like about the Mavs, and I swear to God, you know what I'm talking about? What Joe Pesci? Remember Joe Pesci when he put the guy's head on the vice? You ever seen Casino? Remember he was like fucking Charlie M. He was like, you didn't want to give up the Charlie M. He was like, that's how I feel like about the Mavs and Spurs and whoever, man, the Sixers, and I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what happened, Dylan. I don't know. How do we get excited? How do you get excited about the 8th pick? Like,
Because the first
come on,
lottery
man.
pick in Brooklyn history, the Nets have
It's not. We don't even have the number 2 pick.
Yeah, I mean everybody wants the number 2 pick.
That's what I'm saying.
NBA doesn't want us to have it.
Sean Marks, man, we coming for you. I know we Nets fans coming for him, man. I don't know. It's been pretty bad though. I'm not gonna lie. It's been pretty bad, and we already 0-for-1 for the back-to-back draft years. You already know, Dylan. We already 0-for-1. And now I don't know what's gonna happen next year.
Statistically,
I
the
don't know
Nets
what's gonna
pick
happen
every other year lands into the top 3. So it was the Rockets getting our top 3 pick last year. This year we fell. Next year we should get back into it. So as long as you're a bottom 5 team, I can see it. Breeze.
Yeah, I'm saying I wish we could have had at least top 5 back-to-back years. You know what I mean? At least
Yeah,
top 5,
I mean I
but
agree.
damn,
The only way that you can fix that problem is by getting 3 top 19 picks this year. If you can get 3, quantity does sometimes matter. And in a draft class with this much talent, quantity definitely matters.
Yeah, we do got
for the quantity this
quantity
year
right
and the
now.
player next year.
Yeah, we got the quantity with the 26 with the back end and shit. But I'm saying, but damn, Dylan, fucking number 8 pick, man. I knew after the 9, I knew something was wrong when they was about to announce the 8th, and I was like, nah, man, nah. When they said Brooklyn Nets, that was it for me, because we need help. Nets need help, Dylan. You know they need help, like from the basketball gods, whoever
they need
it
help
is,
from
man.
every fucking direction possible because we got no talent.
Nobody helped us, Dylan. Right? Nobody, no basketball guys helped us. I don't know. I don't know. There's some kind of a like a aura going on with the Nets. Some kind of bad aura. Like they gotta knock that shit off.
Can we all mutually agree? Can we all mutually agree that the word aura should never be used?
Or like do you feel like it's maybe the Nets are cursed? Do you feel like Nets are cursed?
I don't think it's cursed. I don't think the NBA cares about them. So we didn't. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think nobody cares about the Nets.
Let me bring Breezy in.
Go ahead.
Here. Breezy, give us a little commercial.
Go ahead.
And what's on your mind?
Looking up.
Glad you guys doing the show. Nets fans, the best fans. You know what I'm saying? Tap the like button. Y'all can find me Big Fan Breezy on YouTube or anywhere. That's where my handle is. Shout out to Gary Nets Press and Peoples.
What's good, Breezy?
I say do the trade, man. Excuse me. If we could get the 3rd pick, do it. You know what I'm saying? If y'all traded Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, go ahead and do it. If we could get, I was listening to the podcast back from when Dylan was talking about that Houston trade, do it. If you know what I'm saying, and my thing is, if none of that happens with the players that I heard, I think Jordy Fernandez could develop that 8th pick into that 8th player drafted into a 2-way player. You know, I think with the man or the of defense for you to get shot opportunities or shot attempts at the basket. I think whoever comes in at the number 8 draft player, they're gonna be emphasis on the defensive side of the ball, and you're gonna see shot attempts and 3-pointers. They definitely gonna do that first, in my opinion. They're gonna let that player be, see what they could do on defense, if they got good team defense and ISO defense, and they're gonna see, if then that player is gonna get a shot attempts, and they're gonna see if that player could develop the three ball. I imagine. So I'm interested to see how Jordy Fernandez is going to develop this player that we draft. I think it's going to be a good thing. You know, I'm not going to say I'm not saying they're going to. I don't know the ceiling. I don't know, you know, what to expect because I don't know the player yet. But I'm gonna be in the building. Gary say he's gonna be in the building. I'm finna buy
I'm
my
gonna be there.
tickets. Yeah,
With
I'm
the
trying.
draft night? You guys talking about the draft night?
Yeah, man, I'm finna
Oh
buy my
damn.
tickets, man. I'm about to
Oh
buy my tickets.
damn! If we had the number 1 or number 2 pick, maybe I will go there. Damn, my guys. Damn, your 8th pick. I don't know, yo. I don't know, but it's just something is off, man. Something is off about the whole thing.
Something is off. Something
It,
ain't
it
right.
something ain't right, Breezy.
Something ain't right.
If it doesn't feel, do you feel excited? I don't feel excited though. I don't feel, we supposed to be excited because we need all the help we can get, but I just can't get excited for number 8 pick, man. And by the way, Jeremiah Fears, combine measurements fucking scared the shit out of me. Just want to let you guys know he's like 6'5", standing reach with no socks and shit. Only 6'5". I'm talking about like I guess jumping or whatever, or like when you jump to the. That's crazy. That guy is only 6.
No
He's
sock.
only like 6'2.5". You know what I'm saying? Those guys gonna fall. You'll see. They're gonna fall in the draft because people looking for tall, long arms. People who can defend. You know what I mean? Watch those guys gonna fall. I guarantee you guys, cause because that shit's gonna scare off most of the teams. Like the measurements, the athleticism. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I don't unless he's like a fucking Kyrie or somebody. Unless he
I mean,
can do
I
shit
look
like
at
Kyrie.
Jeremiah Fears as a Damian Lillard type player.
Pretty small guy though. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's
Dilla?
6'4". That's
Oh, is he really
Yeah,
6'4"?
He's
Because
he's a legit 6'4". He's got. I mean, he's slender. He's about 170, 180. He's slender, but he's
he
not
came in at
short.
182 pounds. But if you look at
He's
his
got a
workout
decent
videos that
wingspan
he's
too,
been
I think.
posting, yeah, I think he's got a solid wingspan. But if
So
you
you
look at
saying
his,
he could be 6'5", Tommy 20. That's what y'all saying.
yeah, there's a chance. I see him as like a Dame Westbrook like player.
yeah, no,
Which
because
is great.
even the Nets Daily, when they put the thing about the Jeremiah Fears, it was like he's really 6'2.5". Really,
Well,
like
that's
6'2.5".
without shoes. When you factor in shoes, which the
Yeah.
whole measuring without shoes on is probably the most pointless thing in the NBA because you're not playing a basketball game without shoes on.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
yeah.
realistically, he's about
Yeah.
6'3" 3/4", if not 6'4", and he has the upside to be potentially 6'4.5", 6'5" by the time he's done growing. So
And he
he
can,
is
but I
just
know he
above
can play
average for a
defense
point
though.
guard.
I think right.
He's
He
not
can
the
play
greatest
defense.
defender in the world, but that's something that you can build around it. If you were to, Damian Lillard wasn't a great defender. Westbrook in the start of his career wasn't a great defender. And these are all guys who became all-stars and Westbrook being an MVP. Like, to me, if Fears is available at 8, or if there's a package that you could do to move up to like 6 for him, do it.
You really think he might not fall? Because I feel like this guy's
I
gonna
don't
fall.
think he's falling to 8. If you could trade up to Washington and get him at 6, and this is what I want to do this with Dylan, like that would be a great scenario. If we could just trade up to 6 to get him, I would do that.
Because people like Carter Bryant or like Noah Senge, people like that probably gonna fall into the top 10. Most likely, because of the potential. I heard like Carter Bryant might be the best defender, right? Might be the best, could be the best defender in the draft.
Carter Bryant's got a lot of upside, specifically defensively. Offensively, I would say his game's probably a little limited, but he's still an athlete. Like, he's not really a shooter, but Carter Bryant is a guy to me.
What is he, like,
If
6'7"?
the Nets traded up to 14, I would like to take him there if he's still available.
Yeah, the potential. I heard he got the potential to be maybe a really good player. Because of the defensive, I guess. Defensive potential. He got the defensive potential. And Noah Senge too. Long arms.
I don't know nothing about this guy, Dylan. You're going all in on Senge. Talk to us about what kind of player he is.
Like a defender,
Yeah,
great defender.
he's a two-way player. His most recent game, they're currently playing playoffs overseas right now. His
Yep.
last game, he had 22 points, 14 rebounds. I believe he shot 2 of 5 from 3 and like 8 of 14 from the field. It was extremely efficient.
Those guys are watch. Those guys going to go to top 10. I
See, the
feel
problem is though, is we're getting into a point of this draft where there's so many guys now projected in the top 8 that it's like, okay, some of these guys are going to fall. It's going to happen. Like Esenge is rising, Carter Bryant's rising, but realistically, do you take them over Jeremiah Fears, Trey Johnson, VJ Edgecombe, Ace, Knebel? Like there's conversations to be had for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Are they most likely top 12 players? Yeah. But that also means that you're pushing guys like Derek Queen, Kisparis Yakachonis, Colin Murray Boyles, Agor Demon. Like these are guys that you're now pushing back further into the lottery, if not just outside of the lottery. So
well, that would be better for the Nets.
yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
Yeah. Now that's what I'm saying. Even like somebody was, I think who was it? Was it I know it was Esenge, Carter Bryant, and a couple other guys that people not mentioning. They saying that they might fall in the top 10 because of the wingspan. Oh, Cedric Coward, right, Dylan? Cedric Coward. They're talking about maybe he might even go to like top 7, top 8 pick. So if that, I don't know if that happens, we'll see, man. We'll see. But damn, oh man, all for one though, all for one. So let's see, 2026. Let's see what happens. Maybe gods will fucking change for us, man. Maybe we get the number 1 pick and get Peterson. I don't know.
I think the best way to get the number 1 pick is to put a decent product out there. You know, look, there's no lottery. There's no drawing balls. The NBA puts you where they want to put you, right? So
pretty
to
fucked
me,
up, yeah. It's pretty fucked
it is what it is. It's their league. They can do what they want, right? So I think the best bet to get 1, 2, or 3 next year is to put out a decent product. We put out a decent product. You show that you're building something. I think you're more likely to get a top 3 pick. I'm just speculating here, but what I do know is that there's no drawing of lottery balls, right? I think Boston's going to be in the top 3 next year if they miss the playoffs.
I'm sure because it's Celtics. I'm sure.
I think if Milwaukee trades Giannis to where the NBA wants them to trade Giannis, they'll be in the top 3 next year.
Don't be surprised if they get the number 1 pick, Bucks or some shit. Yep. Don't be surprised.
And then that leaves 1 spot left in the top 3.
Damn, Gary.
You know, like,
hey, it's okay because I know there's the guy. What's his name? Right, Kareem Lopez. There's a bunch of guys, right, Dylan? Oh, Dylan is gone. Okay. But there's a bunch of guys, Gary, next year. There's a bunch of like top 5 or top 7, even top 7. I don't know. Maybe we get. I don't know. It's number 8 pick. You think Sixers might give up the 3 pick? You think they might give it up?
It's possible. They don't really have a lot of cap space, and the number 3 pick is making $9.3 million. I do gotta wrap this up though, right? So
yeah, Gary.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Enjoy your day.
Absolutely, people. Thanks for coming on. Jump on anytime.
Man.
All right.
Thank you. You too, man.
All right. Be good.
You too.
All right, y'all. Thanks everyone for dropping by. It is June 3rd, 2025 from Texas to the world. Thank y'all and God bless.